Be who you are. Oh, really? Listen to the words of the gospel today. You can't follow me unless you hate your mother and father, wife and children, brothers and sisters, and even your own life. Renounce all your possessions. Carry your cross. It really sounds more like bad news than good news to me. But what does the gospel tell us today? It tells us that the Christian way of living day by day implies something of value. Being a Christian, being a Roman Catholic, being a person of God requires something and implies something of value. As important as a soccer game, a baseball game, or a football game. In fact, the word sacrifice today is almost taboo. Taking up the cross, when we hear Jesus tell us, take up your cross, it's not seen as a voluntary act of love or self-giving love as we saw in the life of Jesus himself. It was a gift freely given and taken up. Rather, the cross is often viewed as something imposed on us. It's almost like God takes delight in chronic illness, in pain, in suffering. That's not the purpose of the cross. The cross is to be able to be lifted up as a sign of that self-giving love and that care, so that we can extend it to others, and that we can lift others up out of their pain, and out of their suffering, and out of the things that surround them in struggles in their daily life. And so Jesus reminds us today that being a Christian is not pressing the like button on a Facebook page. Okay? Rather, living the Christian life challenges our culture. It did in Jesus' day, and it does today in ours. Living the Christian life, truly trying to live the Christian life, seems so contrary to a culture of convenience, instant gratification, and wanting to be what others think we should be. Think of the advertising and the commercialism, all telling us what we should be and how we should create ourselves. And all of that is challenged. Even being a parent is challenged. Being a parent and not a friend of their children, guiding their children's decision-making through their lives. So Jesus shows us that God's gift of love is a gift. It's not a possession. It's not something that we can hoard. It's a gift freely given to us, and it's a love that's poured out in abundance to us. Unless you give up your possessions and those you think you possess, listen to that word. Unless you give up your possessions and those you think you possess, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. Jesus challenges our world then, where wives were possessions, children were possessions and often sold, daughters were bartered for a dowry to increase one's possessions, where the foreigner, the refugee, the leper, the people of different race and colors and religions were seen as less than human, mere assets to our list of our prejudices and racist beliefs that we possess in terms of our attitudes and our behaviors. Living the Christian life may mean renouncing many of our religious, social, economic, and political views that are contrary to the gospel and contrary to the reality of that self-giving love that is experienced in the person of Jesus Christ. Now, we have 1,440 minutes in a day. Certainly, many of those minutes need to be directed toward your family and work. But how many of those minutes do we give away? Reshaping our lives and shaping the lives of others. How many of those minutes do we enable God's dream to become real in the lives of others? Are we conscious of those who serve us and are servants of servants? Do we enable the lives of volunteers and temp workers and bus drivers and plumbers and secretaries and barbers and teachers and maintenance crews and electricians and carpenters and bricklayers and nurses and doctors and city road crews and mothers with children? How do we enable them as a Christian community? How many minutes, then, can you give away this coming week? And you know what? Each minute can make a difference. God bless you.